I'll confess, I've always been jealous of my rotten, good-for-nothing brother and his relationship with our dad. When I was growing up, we had women's chores and we had men's chores. So while mom and I were slaving for hours in the kitchen over a meal, or toiling in the garden with the summer sun coming down, or my least favorite, bent over cleaning the baseboards of every room in the house, my brother and my dad were changing a light bulb, getting the mail, or cleaning the garage. I say that because that garage never got cleaned. One day they're slinking off to go to the garage and I don't have anything to do. So I go to follow them thinking, ooh, I could be free from my chores for just a little bit. And as soon as I do, I hear my mother's voice, Samantha! Off I go back to the back-breaking women's work. At a certain point, my dad decided that he was going to take my brother and I out sailing without my mother and without chores. I was very excited. And as we went out, I realized that this was finally a chance for me to get closer to my father. And so my favorite part about it was when the boats would be launched. And as we're launching the boat off the dock, I would be the one on the dock with the lines and my dad would be on the motor. And when the motor was running and he was ready for us to go, he would say, "Cast away all lines." And I'd go, "Aye, Dad." And I'd take the lines and jump onto the boat and push us off. It was a very exciting time for me because I felt like I was helping my dad and I felt important. You might be asking, what was your brother doing during this? He was doing exactly what he's good for, which is nothing at all. But sure enough, as we got older, I realized that my dad was teaching my brother how to navigate the boat out of the cove, how to operate the motor. And instead of hearing my dad say, "Cast away all lines," I would hear my brother go, Sam, could you shove the boat away from the dock, please? All of a sudden, I was back to where I was, feeling like a third wheel in my family. I wished, guiltily I admit now, that my brother would go away. I just wanted it to go back to the time where I was helping my dad get the boat out and I felt seen. And finally, I got my wish. My brother went off to college. And so now when we took the boat out, it was my dad and me. And we would take it out from the middle of the day until late evening. While we were out, my dad would give me fatherly advice. Specifically, he would say, "All right, Sam, when you cut your toenails, only cut your toenails after you've showered." Or another favorite, "When you get an oil change, they'll put a sticker for when you have to get an oil change again, but you don't have to do it then." The other portions that I really enjoyed were the little bits and pieces of my dad's life that I'd never seen before. He was finally opening up. Some of the best ones were from his time in the Navy. He would go, "The trick to the Navy is you have to try to get out of everything you can." "Sam, Navy stands for never again volunteer yourself." Unsurprisingly, he actually didn't last that long in the Navy, but some of his insights did help teach me later on. The other things that I really loved about these boat trips is it was the first time that I really felt this calm about me. I remember late one evening sitting on the boat, the stars being reflected in the glass calm water all around me, and the wind just softly filling the sails so that the boat's moving so slowly. The shoreline in the distance seems almost static. At that moment, I felt free from my competitiveness, my jealousy, all my insecurities. And for a second, I felt a peace I really had never felt before. I wish that could have lasted, but never seems to. My dad got sick, and then he was getting sicker. And instead of taking the boat out, we would go down and we would sit on the boat. I'd no longer hear him say, "Cast away the lines," but we'd still be able to exchange some little pieces of ourselves as we were waiting. And one of the last times we went out there, he gave me one of his best pieces of advice. He said, "Sam, you are smart and you are capable, but life is not about success. You have to find a balance. You have to find an escape from this chaos. You have to find that thing that is going to bring you peace." I can say that we have one last boat trip in the future in April. My mom, who I now realize was probably teaching me diligence with all the chores that she gave me, and my brother, who I also now realize didn't really do anything wrong and is probably not so rotten, and I will go out on the boat and we will spread my dad's ashes. And I hope at that point, my dad and I will both find peace.
Go,